It's rare when it happens, but it does happen when a podcast comes along that changes lives, that opens eyes, and genuinely does it to enlighten, inspire, and empower. That is what we're here to do. Welcome to EeezDrop, the podcast where we invite you to eavesdrop on unscripted, candid conversations that'll hopefully change your life. Everyone is invited to the table, regardless of your beliefs or background. We're here to discuss real-life issues that pertain to all of us, whether you're God's favorite girl or guy, or simply someone looking for insights into life's challenges and triumphs. Speaking of God's favorite girl, EeezDrop is proudly powered by GFG Evolution, a company that's all about guiding you towards your evolution. Our aim is simple, to help you find your solution through growth and evolution. We won't force our beliefs on anyone. We're here to foster community and spark evolution. We'll be joined by remarkable guests who shared their personal experiences and stories. And as you eavesdrop on these conversations, you'll find nuggets of wisdom that can help you on your own journey of growth and self-discovery. This is EeezDrop. Let's explore the reality of life together. And now your host, God's favorite girl, Olayinka Lockhart.
Hi there. Welcome back to EeezDrop. It's another Thursday evening, and if excited had a face, it would be this. This girl is excited about today's show. We are celebrating Mother's Day on Sunday, and as a mother and also as a daughter, I have a lot to say, and I have some guests who have a lot to say as well. It's going to be hot. It's going to be lit. Listen, share the link. I want you to press like. My daughter used to say like and subscribe. Press like and subscribe and share it. Call a sister. Call a mother that needs encouragement, because this job ain't for the weak, buddy. This thing named motherhood, you're going to need some help, sis. And your sisters are here to help you. Sorry, so welcome to EeezDrop. And we know you're about to hear something to help you evolve. Our show today is sponsored by none other than our corporate sponsor. Let me see if I can find these banners now. Sorry. I don't know what happened just now. There we go. Star Apple. Star Apple is their sister's keeper, and they keep us doing what God told us to do. So we're always grateful for Star Apple. And as you know, GFG Evolution, our motto is your solution is always evolution. So whatever it is that you're going through, whatever it is that you need, you keep on evolving, keep it going, keep it moving, keep on growing. Sweet girl, your solution is found in your evolution. So that's enough of that intro stuff. And I asked my sister before the show started, do you think my intro's too long? She said, yeah, the intro too long. I be like, just get over it. But when you ask a sister for her advice, you have to be willing to take the truth. And that's what we want, right? The truth. So I got some sisters here who can tell you all the truth. I am so excited to bring them on. Listen, I have a new guest. This is a new guest. I'm excited about her, but she's a powerhouse all by herself. But let me introduce all of the people that you know and that you love. So none other than Miss Stacy.
Hi, guys.
Look here. Who we got here? Mrs. Archer.
Yeah, party over here.
And listen, this the powerhouse all by herself. Listen, ain't nothing kill me more when she tell the people, me, I'm the winner. I'm the champion. Guess who that was? Miss Timmy. Yeah, man. So thank you all so much for joining us. And with Mother's Day weekend coming up, right? We're mothers. All of us are mothers. And we have mothers or had mothers. And there's a lot that we could say about motherhood. Mm-hmm.
It's a great
I think it's worth the conversation, because a lot of times we think we're doing it right. We think we got it all right. There's no manual that comes with these things called little babies. And it could get discouraging because you think you're doing it right, but you're doing it so wrong. And I'll tell you my story later. But I think that this conversation is very warranted. So we can start with Kenny, because Kenny posted something on Facebook that got my attention, get my juices running. It was so well worded. And you write it, Kenny.
What I do right. My first degree is in English language. My first bachelor's degree is in English language, and I was an English teacher at LW Young for about 2 years. But there's no money in teaching, so I quickly came out of that. So you see, it's true. My Grammy said, "If you don't know a man, you call him Mister," because I didn't know.
Because I didn't even know that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey,
And Kenny, let me give you this little joke though. My son was in college and his degree was in writing. And I quickly moved him from that college because I'm like, but what you could do with writing? Like, what you do?
Yeah, well, I mean, in terms of writing, that was, like I said, that's my very, very first bachelor's degree. And then I moved on to public relations and mass communications. So with a writing degree, you can take that opportunity to write for ministers, you can write for corporations, you can write copy, you can write text, you can proofread, you can copy edit, you can write for publications online and offline. And so writing brings you a myriad of gifts. And if you have a very, very vivid imagination, it can put you in other places. Now, I'm not saying that I can write a book, right? But I'm saying that if you give me an opportunity and you say I need 800 words for a speech on well-being, or you give me 800 word, you need an 800 word speech on the comparison of Sweden education versus education in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, I can get that to you.
Wow.
That's awesome, Kenny. Congratulations. Awesome.
She's our own chat GPT.
I
Go to chat for that.
I want to get into using PF Chang. PF Chang. Lord, I said the thing name PF Chang. What's the thing name?
Yeah.
Chat GTP. I want to get into learning how to use Chat GTP because I'm thinking it may make my work easier, but then I'm thinking, will people realize that this is not me, and will they know that this is not the tonality or the fluidness of how I speak? Because how do you get an AI to be more personable? And some things that you write, it has to sound right. It has to resonate who you are. So let me say this, right? So, with me being a real estate agent, right, I would go and I'd write out what I want to say. Right. And then I would copy and paste that and put that in Chat GPT. Then I'll read that and most people know that I speak well. So they would expect that if I'm going to send them a message, send them an email, they're expecting to get something that's it should be right. Okay, so what I do is I write out what I want first. I put in Chat GPT, I compare it against what I would say. And even though based on what they give me, their version of it, I still tweak it so it's still me. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I tweak it. Yeah. I could learn to use Chat GPT, but that's awesome.
The AI has the ability, though, Kenny, to get to know you, get to know your tune, and they will sound like you. But anyway, let's switch gears. Kenny, so how long have you been a mother?
I have been a mother for 11 years. Before I became a mother of a live child, I birthed a set of triplets, and the triplets died. Yeah, the triplets died, and they didn't think that I would ever be able to have children again. I was airlifted to Regional Memorial. I was septic, and I coded in the air, and I coded at Regional Memorial as they were checking me in, and I went into a coma for about a month and a half. The babies were born alive, and then they died. And then that was it. Like I didn't know what was going on. And so I have one daughter, and her name is Anai, and her name means God answers prayers. It literally means God answers prayers.
Yeah, I wasn't ready. I wasn't expecting that answer.
No one is ever ready. But that's
I knew it was a miscarriage, but I didn't know it was triplets.
Yeah, it was triplets. We tried IVF on the onset because it just wasn't working, and I'd been married for a while. And a lot of women don't like to face the IVF conversation. And when we have the IVF conversation, they always say, well, what was wrong with you? And I always say, well, there was nothing wrong with me. But my husband at the time, he had an issue. And so we had to work through the issue in order to do what we needed to do. And I had 5 fertilized eggs. They put all 5 in, 3 survived. And the girls' names are Madison, Amina, and Erin, and they were
There were
born.
girls.
But the three girls, we had them baptized in Miami because I was at Regional Memorial, and then the girls were born alive. Then they died shortly thereafter, and I was like that for a month and a half.
So how old were they when they passed?
They were like hours. They never left the hospital.
So you had them baptized while they were in
Yeah. Yes, because we are Catholic, and so I did it while we were there. I didn't know. Aaron did it all on his own.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay then.
And I still have the urn. I have the urn because we got them cremated. So they're all in two urns, two angel urns. So I still have those as well.
Wow.
Okay, Kenny. Okay. Yeah, we wasn't ready. Muddy stuck.
No,
Yeah, I thought the camera had frozen.
no. Listen, she has my undivided attention. I'm
Yeah.
taking this all in because, when you hear about the IVF process, it's almost like it's taboo to us. Like, in the Bahamas, right? A lot of things that the world has been experiencing and going through for years. It's like there's only a handful of us in the Bahamas who has been exposed to that, who knows about that. So this is very interesting. So you have my undivided attention. So please continue talking.
But a lot of us don't know about it because we have a very narrow mindscape and a very tunnel vision of how we see things because of exposure. But I also think that a lot of us carry a great deal of shame. And as a woman, I am 46 years old, and I have to live my best life. And so if my partaking in life can help somebody else, then I don't see the issue. But we hold on to information. We don't want to share. We feel a particular type of way. And I just feel like if I have the information and I can help someone else, then this is it, because I've had success. And so if I'm able to, maybe what I am sharing can help you, because you can go all around Collins Avenue trying to figure out what doctor to go to. But if I say to you, hey, go to Dr. Carol, or hey, go to Dr. Eisenman in Fort Lauderdale, or hey, call Dr. Lopez, I may be saving you some of the hassle.
Yeah.
And the pain.
And the trauma, because there's a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, shall I look at you differently today? I didn't know that part. I mean, I know you was a powerhouse, but I didn't know that part.
Yeah,
That's a different kind of strength when you can lose children. That's a different kind of thing.
But she lost three.
One time. One shot.
Wow. Everybody has a story.
I swear.
Yeah.
I heard somebody said that's why it's called his story.
Yes. Yes.
Because of his story.
So then, Kenny, walk us through the baby that you have. Anai,
Okay.
let's promise.
All right. So I have Anai, and Anai's name is Anai Milan Hannah Moss. Hannah from the Bible. Y'all know the story about Hannah. So I had to put that in there. And then Milan is because her dad always liked Milan in terms of where he wanted to live. He lives in Dubai, but he comes back and forth. He's here now for a while. And so Anai is my gift. Raising a daughter is a tumultuous effort. She's not quite the way I am. But if you push her to it, she can be. It's a challenge. It's a challenge because I lost my mom a year ago. Well, it's a year now. And so some things that I would go through, I don't have my mom here to walk me through it. Like I had to take Anai to Sandy's to get a training bra. And my very first instinct was to pick up the phone and call mommy, say, Mommy, but there was no mommy to call. So I had to manage that boulevard by myself. In terms of raising a daughter, there's really no manual. But I will say to you, if we're being honest, I will say to you that my mother was a woman from the ghetto. My mother was from Milton Street, born with outside door toilet. She was the eldest child of 8 siblings. And my mother said by the time she had me, she was tired of being a mother because she had been a mother to her siblings. And when I asked my grandmother, I said, Grammy, how come you have all of these children and you don't have no husband? And she said she didn't intend to get pregnant all of these times, but she said she had to eat and she had to find a way to feed them. And so everybody's home, or every time she met a man, it was convoluted with sex. And so she had a child, and no one ever married her. My mother has 8 siblings. Only 2 of them are for the same person, my mommy and her brother. And there's no manual. But my mother raised me like a beast. You hear me? My mother raised me to be strong, my mother always said to me, don't you take no shit from nobody. And she always said, Kenra, if you feel something, you feel it ain't right, you go with that. But mommy raised me like a beast, and then she raised my brother differently, right? But I will say to you, with her being not here now, I see that I can't do the same thing with Anai. I see that I have to give Anai more love and more nurturing. I always thought that I would have the type of love that you see on Little House on the Prairie or these sitcoms, but that wasn't who my mother was. My mother gave me grounding. When you get up Saturday morning, there ain't no laying down. Get up, move this shit, clean. We cleaning. Sunday, you could lay down as long as you want Saturday evening, but 8:30 Mass to St. Joseph's, we can be there for 8:15. My mother said, you go to school and you get your education because I will kick you straight through Xavier's door. And she carried that straight to my matriculation for university. And I don't want a night and my relationship to always be that hard. I want a night to know that your mommy love you and you could come to me for whatever. There were certain things that I was afraid to say to my mother, like when I got pregnant, I wrote them a note, and I marriage a note. I wrote a note and I say, Mommy, I having a baby. And she said, go tell your pa in the kitchen. So mommy raised me rough, but I see now that it was on principle because that's all she had. And she didn't have a manual. So she did the best she could. Mommy did the best that she could. And with mommy doing the best that she could, it afforded me opportunities to say now, like, hey, like I don't know, how do I do it? I got to figure it out. Because one day I won't be here and Anai is going to have to figure it out. She's an only child. But mommy raised me the best way she could. And I could tell you, my mother didn't deprive me of anything. I had private school education. I had tree juice every day for school. Mommy used to fry my chicken every morning, pack it in the foil, put it in my Tupperware. And listen, my mother, any play, anything I in, mommy and daddy was there. Mommy gave me a good, firm, mommy gave me a foundation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gee, that's good. So when you talk about the relationship that you had with your mother and what she created this beast that is known as Kenny today. What do you think would have been her regrets? What do you think she may have looked back and say, I wish I had done that different?
My mother said that sometimes that she wished she wasn't so vocal, because she said if she weren't so vocal, she would have probably been further ahead in the bank. And one thing with my mommy always said that she ain't a purge for nobody. If my mother felt a particular type of way, you gonna know. I remember one Sunday, this lady always used to come and like hug up my daddy in the church and put a sign of peace. So one Sunday, like we in mass with all our clothes on. And the lady came and she hugged up my daddy. Mommy said, Nah, let me tell you something. Every Sunday, you used to do the same thing. Do not put your breast on my husband, okay? But she did it so much that mommy got tired of it. And so my mother always said, you don't let nobody play in your face. Mommy said they know what they are doing.
Right.
And so,
and I agree with her.
Exactly. My mother's regret was that she said that maybe sometimes she is too vocal, but that vocality that my mother had, she definitely gave that to me.
So what do you think she regretted in being a mother to you, mothering you, raising you?
I think mommy regretted that in all actuality that she was a mother before her time, because there were some pearls and there were some gems that mommy dropped on me later in life. My mother taught me how to clean house and how to cook and how to take care of a home. And I don't know if she necessarily taught me how to be as loving as enduring as I would have been had I not seen and taken care of my mom at the stage where before she left. Because it wasn't until and like I said, I'm not a spring chicken, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was February 2023. It was 2024. It was February 2024. And no, it was February 2023. And mommy and I were in the room. Mommy was already in the bed by then. And I had on this parakeet out, like I had a jumpsuit, but it was a parakeet on it, not all kind of sparkles and all this kind of glittery thing. Somebody said, Kendra, where you going in the day dressed like that? So I said, I come here to see you, gal. So she said, Kendra. I said, yes, ma'am. Because my mother's called me Kendra. I don't know why she calls me Kendra, but that's what she calls me. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, your mother love you, you know. She said, mommy love you. She said, I'm hard on you because you can manage. She said, Donovan can't handle it. And I'm named after my dad. My dad's name is Kendall, and my mother's name is Donna, and my brother's name is Donovan. And I think that encompasses what her regret would have been, because she was a mother before her time, and she didn't have the opportunity to not be, because she had to be a mother for everybody else.
Well, you are a good representation of your mother and what she instilled into you. I think she would, if she could see you now and say something, I think she would say she's very proud of who you've become and what you're putting out there right now. I don't know your past. I only know Kenny now, and I've been impressed since I've met you. But what do you think you're doing right in raising your daughter? And then what do you wish, or what would you do different?
I don't know that I'm doing it right, to be honest with you. I don't know that I'm doing it right, but I put 1 foot ahead of myself every day, and I try. These children are raised in a completely different time than you and I were. There was no cell phone. There was no all of this external social media. When I was a child, you do your homework, you blow on the Atari to get the Atari do, you stick it in, and you watch Scooby-Doo Saturday morning, you watch Roseanne, you watch the news 7:30, 6 o'clock, and 8 o'clock you go to your bed. So I don't know that I'm doing it well, but I anoint an eye in the morning, take an eye to church, and I anything she asks for within reason, I make sure that she has, because I don't want her to be envious of other people going out there, but she has to work for what she wants. When it comes time to use my air condition, because it's my air condition. When it comes time to use internet, I charge her $1 for internet a day, because she has to do homework, and I charge her $3 for the air condition per week.
Oh, this sounds good, man.
When it's time to go away in August, because we go on summer vacation in August now, her daddy takes her all over the world. Like, I taking you to Orlando. You won't go or you won't go. I put her money in a little container. And when it's time for us to go on vacation, I say, Anai, this is the money that you would have spent for the last 7-8 months. You could use this however you wish. But I take half of it. If it's $800, I cut it in half. I say $400, and I go to your little savings book. You could take the rest and do whatever you want to do. I wanted to know that life ain't no bed of roses, and it ain't no crystal stair. There's boards in it, and there's tax, and you have to be able to stand on your own bottom, because you don't have no brothers and sisters, right? I try to let her understand, and I understand that if you don't have God, you're dead. I let her know to be good to people. And I also say to Nai, you go to Catholic school. You went to the same school I went to. And there are rules and there are regulations, but I have to be honest, right? And I told her, I said, Nai, you go to school, you do what you're supposed to do. But if anyone put their hand on you, you put your hand right back on them. Okay? And your mother could deal with that when I get to school. But I try my very best to give an eye an example. When I was doing my second master's, I wanted an eye to see, like, listen, me and your daddy divorced, but I can still make the sun shine on you. I wanted to know that you could be in a loving relationship. Someone will love you. Don't take no nonsense. I try my best to show an eye that. I don't know that I'm doing it right. I look at other women and I try to emulate and grasp from them. And I could honestly say to you, Maddie and I were in the Chinese, and I didn't remember where I knew Maddie from, And the same Chinese I was in, when I had been there that day to get some food for my parents, and mommy passed that same day. That was the last place that I was. And I say all of that to simply say, you see other women around, but these other women stand in the gap for you. Because Maddie prayed with me, I think, that day in the Chinese with all kind of people around.
That's
but
right.
When my mother left, I realized what the power of prayer meant. Because is there anyone to stand in the gap for me now, to cover me and to pray for me like how my mommy used to? I don't know. But I learned from other women. My mother's marriage was like a fairy tale. Mine wasn't. I thought that mine would have been, but I don't know the sacrifices my parents put into their marriage. I don't know all of the answers as it relates to being a mom, but being a mother is cherished for me. Any job that I have, I say, hey, I could do the job, but my daughter's sports day today, so I ain't coming. Or I have something to do with an eye. And or like if you go and you travel, right? And I can buy this for me and I can buy this for me. But when I get in Walmart, I say, I can buy 2 panties for me and 1 bra, and then I can get an eye the rest of the things. And that 1 panties and that 2 bra, they can run me.
They can run you for a little while.
And that's what I do as a mom. I mean, that's the reality of it. I don't know that I'm doing everything right, but I want you to believe me when I tell you I try, because my mother never let me and Donovan go without. Never one day.
That's so good. That's really good. You're doing a good job, Mom.
Thank
You're doing
you.
a great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you're the prettiest beast I ever saw.
That's right, child. And we are standing with you 10 toes down.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So we have someone cheering you on in the comments. She said, "You talking, Kenny? You talking, boy? That's so good."
Right.
I can't see who that is. I don't know who that is.
That's Cecily.
Oh, okay. Hi.
Cecily, that's my girl.
So we're moving on to Mrs. Archer here. Mrs. Archer, the vitamin B herself. Mrs. Archer, now we know you wrote the manual for motherhood.
Yeah.
Unleash the beast.
Well, you know what? Here's the funniest thing. I was just driving the other day, right? And it's funny how you both of you would say like there's no manual for having kids, right? A lot of you and Stacy really know my story. I got pregnant when I was 14 years old. But you know what I thought about the other day as I was driving, right? I thought about, when you're in labor, right? And it's time to have the baby, and the doctor says it's time to go, right? And you take your feet and you put your feet in the stirrups and that stuff, and that pain licking you, right? And you got to scoot let me try get in position. You got to scoot all the way down to the end, right? And you had the thing, you hold on, and they say, okay, push, right? And when that baby finally comes out, I got this revelation. They take that baby and they put that baby on your chest. And that baby lives on your chest until either of you is placed 6 feet under.
I swear.
Listen, when I got that revelation, I just wept. Like who told them to put this baby on my chest? Like who told them to put this baby on my chest, right? So when they put this baby on my chest, boy, that's your baby. I don't care if you married, if you single, you divorced, you been a surrogate, you get something from the sperm bank. Once I put that baby right here, buddy, that's you. Because only you one is gonna walk through life with this child. The father will pick up, and even if the father is there, right? Even if the father is there, there's so much we carry as mothers. There's so much we have to do. Even if they give you $1 million, right? But I'd prefer you to be up in the night with me when this baby's sick. I'd prefer you to help me to make decisions when it comes to this. I mean, oh my God, putting that baby right here. When I got that revelation yesterday, that took me back almost 37 years ago. My kids are grown, but again, they're still here, right? So I have 4 children. Even my son who's in heaven, he's still right here, right? So I have 4 children right here. And then on top of that, I got 2 grandchildren who right here, right? And listen to me, if no one else in this world on planet Earth believes that I'm Superwoman,
They do.
they that I believe I'm Superwoman. Because my children is calling and tell me, say, Mommy, my school fee due. I need $20,000. When you need it, now. I have to call Inky like, just gonna need $20,000. Like she need 20 real $1,000. Like this is pesos. It's like 20,000 USD. And they be on the phone waiting, like, tell me how I can get it. Like after they drop the bomb, they need $20,000. They waiting on a response, like how you can get it, right? And what they do is they come with such a convincing argument, right? This school fee got to be paid, and if the school fee don't be paid, then I can't go to class, then I can't graduate, then this can't happen, then the next thing can't happen. Then they talking over here on this side of this brain, and I over here on this side of my brain just saying, Jesus help me. You know, I was sitting down, I say, you know, y'all just watch Peppa Pig, right? And Peppa Pig is say, Daddy, when they call her, when they come dropping all their stress on me, I just have to turn into Peppa Pig and look to heaven and say, Daddy.
No, that's right.
Daddy, I have nowhere else to turn. Like, who else could help me? You know, that's like the apostles. Where should I go when you have the words of eternal life?
Mm-hmm.
Like, listen to me. When I got that revelation of them putting that baby on your chest, that is your baby. And then we wonder why, like those mothers are down by the courts, right? Your son just get convicted for killing 57 people, but you won in the hot sun under the sycamore tree down there by the Supreme Court because you carried a baby in your belly for 9 months. And that attachment, so his first drink of water came through you. His first morsel of food came through you. Listen, I cannot even begin to express the restless days and sleepless nights I had with 4 children. Like, my children was homeless. Oh my God, like sometimes I look back and I can't even retrace my steps. I just have the memories of what was, because I know it only could have been God. I got pregnant in the 9th grade. Like I have a 9th grade education, right? But I always had this desire to give them a little bit more than I had. And boy, I called Inky the other day. Boy, Inky is my sister. I called Inky the other day and I say, I'm mad. Inky, I feel like I'm 15 years behind and I don't have this. And I just bought a place I should have done had. I say, Inky, I driving this Mercedes Jeep. Mercedes, I should have done had 10 Maseratis by now for all the monies I've made, all the sacrifice. And I'm just venting and I'm mad and I'm having a breakdown. So I had to call my sister. So sister, tell them what you tell me.
Well, the proof right there in the pudding, we could see where the money went. You know, somebody gone to Commonwealth Bank and they got $50,000 and they gone away and they bust it up and all they could see is the loan. Mm-hmm. But your proof is there. We could look at Quintina. We could look at her, touch her, feel her. Let her talk to you. Let her have a conversation with you and you will see where your money went. Call Shavana and ask Shavana a medical question. I think if you ask Shavana why the toe connected to the foot, she'll have an answer. And you could see where the money went. Mm-hmm. Call Sammy. Now, Sammy ain't finishing where we want him to be. But you call Sammy. By the time Sammy finished with you, you'll feel like you was a superstar. We could see where the money went.
Even though, right, you can see where the money went. And listen, I just worked. Like listen, if I have to pay my children's school fee or I have to pay the rent, put me outside. And this ain't no joke. Like, listen, you know, people are saying, well, if God do it for Kenny, God can do it for me. Listen to me. That is true. But I'll tell you why God is not going to do it for you like he did for Kenny. Because you are not prepared to do what Kenny do. Right? Mm-hmm. Kenny did some stuff that got God's attention. Listen to me. I was prepared and still prepared to this very moment. Okay? If I have to sell my car and catch the bus to make sure them school fee paid so they could finish, but that car getting sell.
Okay, Maddie, let me stop her right there. Okay, Maddie, back to Maddie. Listen to me, because she will go and she will do this. Do not sell your car, okay?
No, I'm just saying the level of commitment that I
I
have
know.
for
Oh, I
them,
know.
right? The level of commitment that I have to, they're my responsibility. They belong to me. So you can take anything in this world from me. My husband can leave me. You can take away the house. You could take away you could take everything away from me. But there's one thing you could never take away from me. It's my children. You can't change their DNA. They mine. So when I got that revelation that they mine, I took possession of them. I became obsessed with them. I became obsessed with their future, their well-being, their mental health. So it's my responsibility to make sure that they go further faster. And I was prepared to do whatever it took to make sure of that. I'm grateful to God that I didn't have to lie, steal, sleep with anybody. But listen to me, selling the car, I not paying. I would live outside. That's fine because I ain't live outside for forever. But that school fee getting paid. My kids are around the world in school. Like I sometimes I just can't even believe it. So I from Jonestown, 8 Mile Rock. So for those of y'all who live in Nassau who's never been to Jones, 8 Mile Rock, 8 Mile Rock is like being down, right? Jonestown, where I grew up, that's like being down, right? So can any good thing come out of Nazareth? So here it is. I have these 4 kids. All of my kids have different fathers, and they tell me say they ain't helping me pay no school fee. Well, that's the last conversation we ever had. That was 37 years ago, right? So I just took them and I run with that. And today I couldn't be more proud. I am honored that they're my children. I'm honored for what I've been through. Like Kenny, what you've been through, it is to help someone, right? So we pay an expensive price to be able to help a sister along the way. So I've paid such an expensive price, and I'm still paying the price, and I will forever pay the price, because if your mother was with you today, Kenny, Anaya would not have been your concern, because she would have taken her over, because there's a love that we have for our grandchildren that's unexplainable. Like, you just, there's no words to describe it. There's not one word known to man that we can use that will give you a sum total of the love that we have for our grandchildren. It's just insane.
I have to say that I agree with you, because I remember one afternoon my mom was still alive and she was still mobile at this point. This was maybe like 2003 later, right? And Mummy those came to Anai's swim meet, because Anai was on the national swim team. And Anai hadn't changed her clothes yet, but she had on some socks. And I guess when you put on your black shoes and you rub it on the socks was dark from the shoe. The socks was dark from the shoe, mind you. Not the socks wasn't dingy. The socks was dark from the shoe. So Mommy said, "Canberra, come to this car." I could see her come calling me. So I walk over and say, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "I look dead to you." So I say, "No, Mommy, what happened?" She said, "Why and I socks look like this?" I said, "Mommy, and I been to school all day. How am I supposed to know why?" And she said, "Shut up." I said, "Oh, okay." She said, "Kendall, carry me to Sandy's." Daddy and Mommy went to Sandy's, and Mommy came back with a bag of white socks from Sandy's. Mommy said, "I don't ever want to see a nine dirty socks." I said, "It's no problem. It's no problem." And she would tell Anai, in front of Donovan. She'd tell Anai in front of me. She said, "I don't care about you and Donovan, I love Anai." She said, "You're grown. If Mommy have one little $5, one little, Anai, come here." And I see Mommy giving Anai money. I said, Nana said, "That is none of your business." I said, "Mommy, would you tell Nai, Kenra, that's none of your business." And she loved, like the love that I saw Mommy give a Nai. I wish that would happen between she and I.
It can't. That's
Wow.
next level.
That's
That's
next
what I was
level.
about to ask you, Maddie. Like, how did you learn to love the way you love?
That is such a great question, because I didn't come from an environment of love, right? I didn't come from an environment of love. I didn't come from a nurturing environment at all, right? So I learned to love by having my children. So I had Barry when I was 15, Quintina when I was 16, Shivana when I was 19, and Samuel at age 23, right? And so I needed those babies. I needed those babies. Those babies were what I needed to change the trajectory of my life. So having Barry, and Barry was sick. He was born sick. He was born with sickle cell anemia, right? Um, Quintina, Shavana, and Samuel. I just knew that I wanted to take care of these children. So when I had my first child, everything, it's almost like I went to sleep a little girl and woke up a grown woman, right? So at 15, I had to take care of this baby. Then I had my first child was a sick child. He was sick. As a matter of fact, when I was released from the hospital, he was not released because he was in the incubator. He was 4 pounds 15 ounces. And then the young ladies who had babies before me told me not to make no noise when I was in pain and not to ask no questions because the nurse them is do you bad, right? So I remember one evening, the nurses came around and they rolled up everybody's bed, right? And they brought the babies in. Everybody fed their babies, and so I see they brought the babies in. The babies was with their moms. I was in the bed. I sat up in the bed, and then I realized that they took the babies back, and I was still there sitting up. And I was so afraid. Like I was 15 at the time, right? I had no idea what was going on. But I remember the girls who had baby before me said, don't ask no question. They treat you bad and they say mean things to you. So I was sitting there and I just was crying, right? Because here it is. I just had this baby. I don't know what's going on. I'm 15 years old. I have no support. I have nobody. I am in this place by myself, okay? On this ward by myself. I have no clue of nothing. So one, there's always one, right? There's always one, buddy. I don't care where you go in life, what situation you find yourself in, there will always be one. Okay? There will always be one. And so this nurse, she came to me and she says, why are you crying? And I said, because I don't know what happened to my baby. And she says, oh, come, let me show you where your baby is. Girl, I thought, I would come. I just started crying. She takes me down the hall in this little room. And then I saw Barriers in this little thing. And I started crying. I was like, what that is? So then she began to explain to me because he was born premature. He was underweight. He's in an incubator and he's going to have to stay in here and da. She went on to explain, boy, did I cry. And boy, did I cry. And then every time they came to me with a story. Oh, he is not doing well, or he is sick, or he's that, or he's the next thing. And I keep saying like this is a horrible experience, right? This is a horrible experience. But, eventually we got over it. And Barry he was a sick child. He was born with sickle cell anemia. At one point, they said that he had heart murmur. So we spent his life in and out the hospital, right? And, he passed away on March 3rd. This March made 9 years since he left us, right? But, at the and even in that moment, oh God, even in that moment, right? I was alone when he came into the world and I was alone when he left.
Wow.
By myself. I remember going to work. I just passed the punch. And I remember getting a call. She said, this is nurse so-and-so from trauma. She says, is this Madeline Nesbitt? I said, yes. She says, can you come now? I said, is everything okay? She said, just come. I said to Tina, drop me here. I was on my way to work to Atlanta. She said, drop me and drop your baby to school and come back for me. And I remember going there and I got to the window and I gave them my name. Again, not knowing what's going on. And they put me in this I give them my name. Before my name was out of my mouth completely, they put me in this little room, right? And they put me in this little room. This little room is so small. And so I'm in there for about 30 minutes. So I went back out and I said, well, I'm here, I'm waiting. I mean, like, what's going on? Like I dropped in there like 2 days before. And I'm thinking this is just a regular time that I'll drop him in the hospital. He's there for a few days and they'll let him out and he'll come home. And so I said, I'm here. What's going on? So she said, the doctor will come to you. And as each passing moment, it felt like the room was getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I felt like I was about to lose my mind. So I called my sister and I said, listen, I'm in the hospital. I don't know what's going on. They didn't say anything to me. I remember clean as day. The doctor name is Dr. DeVoe. He walks in the room and he had 2 ladies with him. And he just started talking to me. And then I got offensive. Like, what are you saying? Just tell me. Asking me if I know why he was here and da-da-da-da. And I was like, just tell me. And all I remember him telling me is that, unfortunately, Barry passed away. Listen, again, another moment by myself. Listen, I don't know how I got up under the chair, but I was up under the chair. God had us again. There's one. One of the nurses, she stayed with me. When I tell you, in that moment, I didn't know which way was up. I remember grabbing my phone and I pressed the last number that I dialed, which was my sister number in Freeport. And all I remember saying, I screamed and I said, Peaches. And the nurse took my phone. I was like a mad woman in that hospital. Mad woman in that hospital. I'm in Nassau. I have no family, no blood family, nobody in this hospital. Only person I call my daughter, I pick up the phone, I call Pastor Wells. And I said, I'm at the hospital. I think something is wrong with Barry. By the time his Pastor Wells came, they had already given me the bad news. My daughter walks in the room and she looking around like, what's going on in here? What's going on here? And then they told her what happened. Then she started climbing the wall like spider, right? So they took me in the room and his lifeless body's on the bed. Lifeless body's on the bed. And I began to weep. Not a small little area they had cordoned off. And I remember the doctor said, take this body down to the morgue. That's what the doctor said. Take this body down to the morgue.
Not even a person.
Take this body down to the morgue.
Wow.
Let me tell you something. As sisters, we need to be more, and this is what me and Kenny was talking about when we said the Chinese was getting the food. We need to be more kind to each other. Because we don't know sincerely what the next sister's going through. My son passed away 9 years ago. And let me tell you something. That just hurt me today, like the brother just died by. When I driving down there on Stapleton, he's like you on Stapleton, right? You all need to see me. I just be like this, looking out the window, just thinking of that young one looked like my son.
Wow.
I just be looking out the window all around Stapleton. I'm coming around there by Farrington Road. Any young man that I see, I just be looking, thinking, is this my child? Is this my child? Listen, being a mother, there's no words to describe what it's like to be a mother. Once you are a real mother, you listen to me. There's nothing you won't do for your children, because as a mother, we want to see them in such a better place, right? You know, when I to call my daughter and she say she in the hospital, I be trying to figure out, like, what you doing in these people hospital? Then I have to remember this girl is a doctor. I message my next daughter. The girl she say, I in the courtroom. What you doing in the courtroom? What you doing in these people courtroom? And your mother was despised by all for having these 4 children. Despised, rejected, talked about so bad, me and my children. But that's why I coined the phrase, they are my fantastic 4. And it gives me the greatest pleasure in this world to be their mom, because I've been through the fire and I've been through the flood. And we gonna ride this baby till the wheels fall off. I was telling Inky, I just tell my children about God, tell my husband about God, I tell my grandchildren about God. Then I just gotta go in my prayer room. I say, now God, you can't let me down, brother. Because I was there telling these children, but the school fee gotta get paid. Like I said to God, like I am so tired. Like I cannot even express how I'm tired. I'm just tired of paying school fee, but I've been paying school fee my whole life. I'm tired of paying school fee. I'm tired of every time I get the money, I got to send it to St. Mary's University. I got to send it to Dalhousie. I got to sell it to the next doctor university. My son, 1 year, his school fee cost me $80,000. Because he say he's going to the NBA. Whatever my children come and tell me, say they going to do, I am crazy enough to believe that and be gone in that direction. Right? I never tell my daughter, be a doctor, be a lawyer, be a this, be a that, aspire for this. No. I tell them that I want them to be productive citizens. I tell them that there's a whole world out here. I don't know what I tell them that for, because these people in today, at this very present time, Shavana is in Jamaica, Quintina and Malachi is in Halifax, Samuel is in New York, somewhere up there. So my money for the past 20 years has been going all over the globe. So someone of these universities gonna have to give me a honorary doctorate degree.
I know that's right.
Owe me for all the money I didn't spend. Because trust me, I spend money.
Now talk fast now, because we got to wrap up. So I want you to tell them, it's Mother's Day weekend. Tell them about Jesus between the two thieves.
Oh, so so Inky and I have this thing where we sit and we talk about the Bible, right? I'll call her and I get this revelation and we'll pick all the meat of the bones, right? And I was telling her how you have two thieves on the cross, right? And Jesus' mother is down there by the cross. Jesus' mother is down there, and she's with her son, right? First of all, let me go back quick to Mary, how Mary was like the first single mother I know, right? Right? Because first of all, Joseph didn't really believe what he believed, or we thought he believed, about this whole, that Jesus is 12 years old. And this is how we know Jesus was black. Because after you've been gone 3 days, they were unfit parents. You go on a 3-day journey, then turn around and see your child in there after 3 days. You did call social service for Mary and Joseph, right? Then you go back another 3 days. So if you was gone 3 days, then it took you 3 days to walk back. That was a week, right? So where your 12-year-old son was during this time while he was sleeping, who was taking care of him? He's a minor, right? And then you find him in the temple, and no doubt Joseph was mad, and he tried to reprimand him. And he point blank tell him, "You're my daddy." That's what Jesus told Joseph. "You're my daddy." And that was the last time we hear about Joseph. That was the last time. Joseph said, "First of all, I didn't believe this from the beginning. They just see my child anyway. This mess, you and your child go that way, I go in this way." But that no more. But Mary took care of her baby. And she believed in her baby. So much to the point where she tell the people at the wine, "Listen, go and do whatever he say." And he say, "Mommy, man, what you dealing with? Ain't time yet? Ain't time yet." But she was so proud of her son, right? She was so proud of her son. And she knew what is in her son. This is why you cannot allow anybody to tell you anything derogatory about your child or your children. That's your child and that's your children. Mary know what was in her son. She know he could have turned that water into wine. She knew that. She wasn't doubting that. That's why she said, "Go get them water bottles and do exactly what he said." He said, "Come on, man, mommy, man. But I only gonna do this because I only can imagine them too around. I only gonna do this because of you." He said, "Because my hour has not yet come." First miracle. She walked with him all the way through. And then on that day, when he was on the cross between two thieves, she's sitting there on the ground, weeping. The disciples holding her. And Jesus said, "Woman, behold our son." Could you imagine what Mary felt or what Mary is going through? Seeing them do that to her child, a child that's blameless, who she knew is the savior of this world, because the angel came with glad tidings.
And told her that.
What her child would do and what he would become. And so now she have to sit here and watch him die on the cross for you and for me. So listen to me, Mary, she is the mother of all mothers. We all can take a page out of Mary's book, because she was riding with her son until the very end.
So what about the thief on the left and the right?
So the two teeth, see how she's doing me, right? So that you have the teeth, one teeth on the left and on the right, right? The thief on the who's on the cross, he said to Jesus, remember me when thou comest into thy kingdom. As a mother, you have to take your children, take them to church. That thief, he may have been a thief. He made some bad decisions, but he knows Jesus Christ. He was in church. He was in Sunday school. He was in Bible study. He probably even went to Xavier's, right? Okay. And he got a revelation of who Jesus was. And he said, you know what? I can die anyway, brother. So seeing as though I know I ain't coming down off this cross, in pain and in agony, he turned to Jesus and said, remember me when thou comest into thy kingdom. And Jesus in pain and agony said, today, you will be with me in paradise. Train up your child in the way that he must go, and when they're old, they will not depart from it. There's going to come a time that's going to test everything that you've ever told them. Let me tell you something. The greatest sound to my ear is when my children say to me, Mommy, let me show you how God is working. I sit right up, child. Sit up. Child, tell me how God is working.
Right.
Mommy, let me show you how God is working. If I hadn't instilled that in them, which nobody instilled in me, right? They used to get mad because, I've been on the intercessory team for over 20 years. So we always the first church in church. So from they were small, they mad. Youth meeting Friday night, only 6 of them in the youth meeting, but 3 of them is mine. Y'all can break in this youth meeting. But look what kind of fruits we have today. We have fruits where my grandson, who is 13 years old, has embarked on a 40-day fast. 40-day fast. It's all because of the environment that we created for them to thrive.
Mm-hmm. And the most important part of that, Maddie, what I wanted you to hit on is the thief's mother. The thief's mother probably was, sad. She thought it was over. But he made his way into the kingdom because he told Jesus, remember me.
Remember me.
So if she prayed and if she seeked the Lord and she lived right, she could see her child again.
Absolutely. And that's what we do as mothers. We pray for our children. A lot of us out here today are writing on our mother's prayers. We are writing on our mother's prayers. And let me tell you something, that's them sweet prayers. Dying them highfalutin prayers. That's them prayers when mommy them go to get on their knees and they start humming before God. And they start crying. They start wailing before you. You heard Helen Baylor, her testimony, when she's talking about how she's on drugs and then her Grammy say she was fasting and praying and that's the kind of prayer that have you and I where we are today. That's the kind of prayer that have you and I saying, you know what, God, I thank you because somebody prayed for me.
All right, Stacy. I ain't letting you go. We get 2 minutes on the clock.
No, man. Let's need more than that. Go, Stacy.
I don't know what she want me saying 2 minutes.
This Mother's Day weekend, honey. Mothers, listen to me. This right here is such a fuel for so many mothers. Because let me tell you something. Mothers, what we do is a thankless job, especially in this generation. Okay? I've had them tell me in my face, look me eyeball to eyeball and tell me, you don't do nothing for me or what you thought or whatever. So mothers, yes, we rock.
You rock. You did an awesome job, Mom.
We rock, mothers. We rock.
Okay, Stacey, now tell us about your daughter. And then tell us about your relationship with your mom.
My daughter. I could talk with my daughter for hours, right?
You're beautiful, successful, smart daughter. Talk about.
My daughter, I have an 18-year-old phenomenal young woman.
That's right.
Like she is, I've had last night in our prayer meeting, because me, her, and my mommy, we pray sometimes together because, she's not here. She's in boarding school. And in our prayer meeting, she's in boarding school. Oh, yeah, I pay school fee all my life, just like you.
Okay.
Should I say that?
Yes.
I think everybody know I pay school fee all my life.
It's a big deal. Yes, yes.
I pay school fee all my life.
So
School
in
fee
other words,
and
so stick a pin.
mortgage. When I was, go
Hold,
ahead.
just stick a pin. So in other words, we could choose to go away, buy nice clothes, buy nice cars,
You
but
taking
then
the word out of my mouth.
we choose to.
Because I say, whilst everybody was buying Remy and having Starbucks coffee every morning, I pay mortgage and I pay the school fee. Them two things
Amen.
was didn't get paid.
Amen.
And they did. But she's in boarding school now. She is graduating next week, Saturday. And she's just one of the best things that has ever happened to me. Like, she's truly a gift from God.
Amen.
I was thanking God in our prayer meeting. I was thanking him last night for how, like, it's just so much of a celebration. Like, every time I think about my life, and particularly my life with her, everything was just a celebration. It's always something to look forward to. Like it was truly a blessing to raise that girl child.
Awesome.
While that was my why, and everybody, for the most part, their children's are their why, right? Their children's are why. Like, she was my why, and she just really made me become the best version of myself.
Yes.
I remember living life like normal, clubbing, partying, busting up your, well, I couldn't bust it up too much because I was always helping my mommy pay bills. I always had the cable bill or the phone bill or something. So let me not say I bust up the whole paycheck. But there was no real drive. But oh, when that baby come,
Yes.
it's like something click on in me, like, you got to make sense of life now.
Yes.
Like, you got to make this right. You got to make it happen. And that's when you buy property and you won't buy apartments and you won't go back to school and you want to climb the corporate ladder. And all of these things were because I know this girl is watching me and I need her to be somebody. And so if she watching me, I got to be somebody so she could emulate that person.
Absolutely.
And so now I even tell her, like, you gotta be better than moms. You gotta surpass me. You gotta do more than I've done. You gotta, like, have that goal, be that forerunner. That mediocrity, we ain't doing that. I was so mediocre in my younger days. Like, when you could do better, but it's just, whatever. Like, we're not doing that. We're striving for brilliance. We're striving for excellence. We are manifesting who God has called us to be. God has named you Karis, Grace, Jaylee, respect and honor. Alicia, secured by God, knows. So whatever you do, whatever you wear, whatever you drive, whoever you keep company with needs to be in line with that. Grace, respect, and honor secured by God.
That's
Grace,
good.
respect, and honor secured by God. Grace, respect, and honor secured by God.
Amen.
That's you. And that's what she has truly epitomized all of these 18 years.
So sweet.
That's my girl. She just messaged me. She say, you got to look at the camera, man. It's like, okay. Because I was on my phone sending her money because she said she hungry.
Yeah.
She said, okay, now you got to look at the camera. I said, okay, sorry, man.
So how did you know? How did you know to raise this? Well, first of all, name this girl, such an important name, and then raise her the way that you raised her.
Okay, so the first question, how did I get the name of that? So I had a sister, right?
Yeah, you had a sister. Did she die?
No, I have a sister. And I told the sister I was going to name her Jaylee because that's close to her father's name. And so she's like, why Jaylee? And so at the time, we were into names that had a meaning. We're still into that. Like, that's what we do. And after a mayor's name was so strong, ruler, commander, prince, like, we was like, we need something like strong, something godly. And we just went on the internet and she saw Karis and she said, what about Karis? And I said, yeah, Karis. Okay, so Karis Jaylee. And then I wanted her to have a middle name. And so I liked Alicia Keys at the time. And when I saw that Alicia meant secured by God, I wrote it down like a sentence. And so it was grace, respect, and honor secured by God. And I tell my mommy, and my mommy say, Karis J. Alicia Knowles? Yeah, that's it. That's a real name. And so that's where the name came from. I watched, as far as how I raised her, like I have like how my apostle say, the bench deep. I have a bench deep full of powerful, strong, kind-hearted, confident women that raised me. And then even apart from that, as far as my peers are concerned, there was always a trio. It was me, Inky, and Tamika. The two of them had children before I had Karis. And even watching them, like, they wasn't leaving their children about nowhere. They wasn't dirty. Like the way Inky raised a man up to that point, and the way Tamika cared and raised Shema, like I had that figure in terms of my peers, and I had someone to look up to in terms of my grandmother, in terms of my mothers and my auntie. My mommy is a whole different movement all by herself. We can need another show for that. Let's not even go there with my mommy, because she is a straight up movement all by herself. Like whatever I need, God has sent that woman to supply all my needs. I might as well tell you. And we were just talking about, so what is your favorite memory of your mother? Because that's kind of what we want to do on Mother's Day. And I say, boy, I have so much memories, but let me tell you how bad my mommy is. There was a time I was studying for my CPA exam, and I was broke. You know, I had no money. I had done take the exam and fail, and so my work wasn't paying for it no more. They paid for 100% the first time. They paid 50% the second attempt. I was mostly on my fourth or fifth attempt, so they wasn't paying no more. I needed a plane ticket to fly away to sit the exam, and then I needed another $350 to pay for the exam. And I was just so out of it. I say, she said, what happened here? Why you look like that? So I say, I just need to walk somewhere. Like, I just need somebody to just drop like what, $1,500. Like, I just need to find it right there in the front of me. And she say, oh Lord, they didn't pay no more for the exam. I say, no. And I you know, I have 18 months to finish this exam, and I need to go. 2 hours later, she said, come here, Stacy. I ain't gonna walk in the kitchen. She dropped $1,500 on the floor. Listen to me. I cry so loud, my neighbors call and say, Steph, what happened to Stacy? She okay? I was like, Jesus, where you send this woman from? I cry on her shoulder for at least 10 minutes. And this is my mother. This isn't somebody strange, but her kindness, her devotion, like she placing all bets on me every single time.
No, that's right, baby.
She is scared. She could do that. If I say, Mommy, I want a house on the moon, she could say, let's call Premier and import this. Let's see if they deliver to the moon. She would do that. My mommy placing all bets on me. And so I have to make sure she come up a winner. And I believe that that's the same thing that my daughter, well, she said I stress out a lot because I tell her, you can't waste your mommy money. Don't waste your mommy money. But I feel like the same thing that I've seen in my mother, that's what I've done with Karis. But it's my mother, it's my friends, it's my aunties, my grandmother, my whole village helped to form what I think is my best effort as a mother.
Oh, that's so sweet.
That's so sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so
sweet.
Yeah. So this has been such an amazing show. Kenny promised us 30 minutes. She sit with us for an hour and 10 minutes. So this must be was good.
It was so good. Oh my God.
Thank you. No, my other client who's supposed to read his speech for, he says his wife went into labor, so I have the rest of the evening off.
Okay.
Right in time for Mother's Day.
Right in time. This is their first baby as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So let's put this little plug in here. Kenny has a show. Kenny,
Yes.
what you be talking about on your show? Kenny,
Well,
listen,
okay, tell
Kenny,
the show. Tell
Kenny,
the show,
listen,
Kenny, tell it.
listen, Kenny. This is a Christian environment, Kenny. I need you to be got it. What you say? This is God's favorite girl.
Oh, I forget this is a Christian one. Okay, so let me. Oh God,
After she didn't say what she said.
Kristen married.
Jesus. Lockhart, why you didn't tell me Mr. Christian? You should have. You need to preface me with some of these things. So the show that I have is called Kenny's Corner. It's on Guardian 96.9 FM on Tuesdays at 6:30, and it's an adult show. Now, the Bible says that the marriage bed is undefiled.
That's
and
right.
So the show speaks about things that happen in the boudoir. It speaks about real life communication and how you can communicate with your partner, how if we have good conversation and good communication skills, we can communicate with other people. And it's very much an adult show. On yesterday, we spoke about premenopause, perimenopause, and menopause. The week prior to that, we had bedroom toys, adult toys for
Yes.
married people. Christian married people.
I tuned into that show, child. Woo.
Decent Christian married people. Hello.
And Kenny, one of the things about God's favorite girl is we learn to pass the test of time. So we pray, we advance, we slay. And one of the places we slay is we slay in the bedroom, because it is that important to keep our good Christian marriages together. So we're going to need to hear what's on the adult show of Kenny's Corner.
That's right.
So I'm going to have some more adult content later on, not this month, because of course, May is the month for mothers. So next month in June, I will pick it back up with an adult toys conversation first out of the gate.
We be present. Stacy ain't gonna be there though, but me and Maddie, we can be present.
Right up front. I can be right up front with a drink.
Listen in the background. Listen in the background, Stacy.
Okay.
Yes, well, thank you so much. You know, this has been fun. I look forward to doing some more of these with you. Kenny, we got to have you on the show by yourself, because, child, you a woman all by yourself. Like these things, I had no clue. So we can try book you again. We know you got a lot of things going on, but we can see if we could book you again. Maddie, vitamin B. We got a lot of information today. Stacy say her whole tribe teach her how to be a mother. Maddie didn't know how to be a mother, but became a mother because she had children. So we don't have excuses.
Yeah.
Kenny say her mommy, she raised a beast. So that means you need some roughness, and you need sugar and spice, and you need some, what you call the next thing, some blows in your clothes. Yeah, man, this was good. I think mothers or anyone that's listening got some good encouragement, because God called us. He chose us to be mothers, whether we are mentoring other children, whether we have children that are our own, or we're just mentoring. God chose us. The fact that he put someone in your space means that he chose you to pour in, and we need to be pouring in as well as draining some bad stuff out. And I think we could do that, man. And I thank you so much for spending some time with us today and teaching us what you have learned, because we got so much to share. I learned a lot from eavesdropping on this conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think if more of us were, had the ability to share, we were honest about, all women want the exact same thing. We want to take care of our family. We want someone to love us. We want someone to be vulnerable with. We want to make money grow. And if someone else can help you along the way, I don't see what the issue is, but it takes a different mindset of a woman to work together and bring someone along with you. It really does.
And be open to receive the help.
Yeah, you have to, because we don't have all of the answers. And if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
That's right.
So Kenny, closing thoughts, 30 seconds.
Love on your kids, love on who love you. Make sure you have someone to guide you through, and be kind. It won't kill you.
Go ahead, Maddie, 30 seconds.
Just create memories, because when it's all said and done, all you will ever have is the memories. All I have today, I have my son left me a son. He's 13, but the memories of my son. Memories are so important. Create memories. Start this Mother's Day. create memories with your family?
Go ahead, Stacy.
I would say be present. I think a lot of times we are fixated on providing. And I think we should try our best to balance that with being present, being there for them, listening, hearing them, encouraging them. Balance providing with being present.
And if I could drop something, so Kenny had said, some things that her mom did, she did differently. Maddie said that the things that her mom did, she did differently. I think I would like to give mothers permission to do it different.
Yeah.
You could do it different from what your mom did, what Grammy did. You need to see what makes sense, what works, and you do that, and not so much of what you've been taught. And we got to stop passing down these generational curses, these generational habits, bad habits that create angry and bitter children that grow up to be angry and bitter people. And let's start with love. Let's start the conversation in a loving way. So even when we reprimand, even when we, frustrated with paying the school fee, that's me. Oh, Lord, I'm so frustrated with paying the school fee and y'all ain't getting it. And I didn't talk to you all so much. If we start with love, my children told me the other day, say, Mommy, we don't like when you shout. So one say, we don't like when you shout at us. Then the next one say, but we don't like when you go quiet. Now, what I do is go quiet because if I say something, I can blow up. So I just go quiet. But they don't like that, and they don't like the shouting. So the only thing I could do is ask God for the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. That's what you could do is ask God. And there is no manual. Like Kenny said, there is no manual. We all doing it one day at a time, one step at a time. And when we think we get it right, chances are we getting it wrong. But I can tell you one thing: as long as you keep on putting one foot in the front of the next foot,
we can get there.
We can get there. Mm-hmm. So thank you again. And it has been a lovely show. Happy Mother's Day to you, super moms. We all
doing it.
Yeah. And we can listen to Kenny's show on Tuesday, and we'll be back for EeezDrop on Thursday. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
You've been eavesdropping on EeezDrop, and we appreciate it. You've been listening to unscripted, candid conversations, and we truly hoped it's helped to change your life. We never force our beliefs on anyone. We're here to foster connections and spark evolution, and we hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on social media at God's Favorite Girl, on Instagram and Facebook at GFG Evolution, and the website at GodsFavoriteGirl.org. See you next time on EeezDrop.